Hello, everyone. This is James. This is going to be my second podcast, and I'm doing James's Corner. It's going to be called The Show. Today with me, I have my fellow pit member, Lydell. Lydell?
Hello. Name's Lydell Young.
All right. Today we're going to talk about how broadcasting has shaped our identity today. So hopefully, he's around my same age, so hopefully we were exposed to the same kind of mass media with a lot of TV shows that we've watched together as we've grown up. And we're going to be talking about them today and how they have influenced us to basically learn stuff. You know, and these shows when we're growing up do play an aspect on us psychologically. First off, you know, for me, like, I remember back in the day where I was around 7 years old, and like there was a show on Cartoon Network called Toonami. Now, Toonami had a broadcast of shows like Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, all these old other shows, but the key concept of some of these shows, pardon me, were basically, you know, friendship and values. Lydell, if you would like to iterate on that.
A lot of from when I watched those same shows, most shows that I saw basically when it came to DBZ and Sailor Moon, Tenchi Muyo and stuff like that, whenever there was some kind of thing that they had to confront, they could confide in friends for moral support or backup. Also things to help them overcome, you know, super large feats. You know, they knew that they could depend on each other. They knew that they could trust each other, and also, you know, just how to deal with everyday occurrences.
Well, I noticed that like, you know, these values, like, you know, when people say, "Oh, it's just a kid show," well, if you look back throughout time, you got like G.I. Joe, who taught lessons, stay off drugs, stuff like that, and these have impacted these kids where you grow up thinking that message. So throughout your whole life, you keep these key concepts. Dragon Ball Z. You know, always train hard. Always do your best as you can. Never give up. You know, that always do your best mentality. And this, you know, that when a lot of people viewed it, a lot of mass media, a lot of mass people, it went through a lot of broadcast. You know, what made the network, Cartoon Network, big. It made it successful almost.
Yeah.
And it really helped establish that main market to those kids, because it was well over 50 million kids. It was all over the country that people watched it.
Yeah.
And this what made the shows become a craze, and the key values. And everyone looks like, you know, everyone likes to talk, you know, dirt about a show called Gundam Wing, which is a Japanese animation show about, you know, robotic stuff, but it taught the lesson of war and peace.
True. And
a lot of stuff, and about government corruption, even though it was horribly dubbed by American voices. But it taught the key concepts of death too in war. You know, you see somebody fighting, and like one of the pilots are fighting each other, and the guy gets completely destroyed by like a giant what was it, the Buster cannon or something like that?
I think so.
At the Buster rifle, and the guy completely gets destroyed. You see him, you don't see him gruesomely die.
Right.
And there was censorship, but you see him, you get the concept like he's not there anymore.
Right.
He's gone. So it taught. I was around the age of 7. It came out in 1997, roughly.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there, and it taught the concept of war and peace. Because after it was about peace, after the whole fights they went through about, you know, fighting this evil government kind of corporation by, you know, one of the main characters. You know, it really established that with me. Even though it was a kids show, it taught the relevance of the world. You know, which even in today's current networks and news and stuff, they don't really they cover a bit of it, but it's more on the negative aspect. Well, not as much, but there's like, oh, here's this problem in this world, and here's what's happening in this crucial part, you know. And these shows, these broadcasts that happened, back in the 90s, really helped. It helped mold us into a person that we are today. Because there is concepts that I've learned from it, you know, like I understood, like, you know, you respect your friends, you don't give up and stuff like that, and that's really what I've kind of, you respect people by. I don't discriminate against anyone. I look at you as a character, you this or that, you know, because there was kind of a class or a race when they looked at each other in certain shows like that. Moving on with the other concepts, you know. We dealt with communications as in like you know, when we growing up, like during the '90s, and like you saw like certain shows that you didn't quite understand as a kid, right?
Yeah.
There's a few of them, and as an adult, you realize what they're about.
Right.
Okay, now, saying you watched a show like Cops, for an instance, right? It always gave you that sense. You was like, oh, the rest in the bad guy, which is much more into that than just they're stopping a bad guy. It taught you, well, later on as an adult, you get these concepts later on. Like you mold, like, okay, that there's the sense of right and wrong.
Yeah.
But when you get older, you identify with more like why this guy got in trouble, why he got in trouble. So leading on to the whole cable, we both had cable growing up, which which is a normal subscription to whatever we had. I had Time Warner. What did you have?
I'm trying to think. Before it got big, I think I did have something.
Time Warner or something like that, because there was a lot of them too.
Yeah.
Back in the '90s, because cable was available like that until like. Now they become these giant oligarchy. Tongue twisted today. Oligarchies, and now there's only a few of them that got AT&T. I'm AT&T. I'm getting tongue twisted today. Darn it, Lydell. AT&T, Time Warner, and satellite, and is there
like direct TV?
Direct TV. There's a few of them.
Dish Network.
Dish Networks, and like normal broadcasting channels like Fox and ABC. When we were growing up, do you ever remember watching certain shows like in Saturday mornings with ABC and stuff like that, or Fox 45? You remember that? Mm-hmm. And this did teach identity and stuff like that. And there's like stuff you watch about shows, when you're growing up, like you remember when you got older and you're 13 and stuff like that, you start to learn stuff about yourself that you didn't know.
Yeah.
With like me, like I started watching Comedy Central, and I did not know that I really enjoyed comedy a lot. I was really kind of a funny kind of person, which I am now. I'm not like I'm a funny wise guy all the time, but I'm a normal person, as into like, you know what I mean? Like
you're a jokester.
I'm a jokester. I'm a good person. But like when I watched Comedy Central, like I had a hidden part of me that my unknown area, and the concept with the chart and the figure 3-2 and the self-concept handout. Basically, you had your unknown area, and that was a really unknown of me. I didn't know I was really funny. And there's other parts of me that I realized I hated music television, because I didn't enjoy it as much, and so that I didn't know that I was really against forget MTV, and that was kind of the blind aspect for me, But normally I'm very open and stuff like that. And there's stuff that I do keep back. I watch certain shows I wouldn't tell people. It's like.
But I think that's everybody. I think that's everybody, because when it comes to that, you get into a social area or social medium with certain people, and you kind of want to reserve those certain aspects on yourself. So you can fit in with certain groups. So there's just certain things, it's like, I watched Sailor Moon, and I watched the entire first series,
which is kind of girly.
Exactly. So
but I watched it too, but it's not like we can identify with that with each other. So that's a really open thing we could talk about. Right. But normally with any other really really testosterone dude, you wouldn't say that. That'd be a hidden.
Yeah.
No,
that wouldn't be something you wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't be. You wouldn't go public with that. Hey guys, I like Sailor Moon. Okay.
One thing that I didn't know that
was an unknown.
That was an unknown. That to me was unlike when MTV started getting more with a few of the dance shows that they're starting to do. A popular one being America's Best Dance Crew, ABDC, known as by short. I identify with that because I realized that I actually started to see that I enjoyed those types of dance, and I enjoyed seeing how they moved and did what, and tried to incorporate it myself.
So you're a person who loves dancing.
I love So I love dance. And
it adds more to your self identity. It's like, I'm just a male. Well, I'm a black African male. How old you are? I don't really know your particular age off the top of my head, but. I'm Lydell, I'm from this area, me, I'm 21, average white male, James. And there's more to that than just to be I'm a name and number.
Right.
The shows that do help shape a person are really needed growing up, and like you don't realize that you still gain stuff, and like you learn about yourself every day you watch something or something happens. So I'm a big WWE fan, and I realized when I was growing up everything was cool. It's like, that's so cool, he did a suplex. When I become older, I'm like a Mark. And now Mark, I'm a real smart aleck, and like, oh, he's gonna fake another move. And I'm not darning upon it, but I realized I didn't know this. Like, I'm a really savvy wrestling person when it comes to that. And I think, in the self-concept that, these shows did mold ourselves to become adults. But as adults, we're still growing, because we're still young adults.
Right.
So we're not going to be done aging and learning things as we go. And, with these broadcasts, it does teach us stuff about ourselves and the environment.
Right.
So,
which is another thing that I'm actually kind of glad about when it comes to how far technology has progressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel as us, we are a generation that hasn't really been deprived as the 2000 generation. Yeah, because you look at it now, we're in a digital generation where, we can find, television online now. We don't need to, if we want to watch an old show, right? We can go online and watch it. We are not deprived. We're actually, thank God, we're allowed to have this luxury, and it's this digital age that we have now, and we're able to have lots more available content to us, and which I am really glad about, because I feel that most of these kids that have been raised on some of the stuff now, because I feel that some of the stuff now is way more mature than the content that we were raised with.
Yes,
and so
that really did shape us, because beginning we only had television,
right? And
and video games. We didn't have the internet yet,
right?
And we didn't have digital. They didn't switch digital until 2009. We were required of TVs to get all that, or you had cable,
right.
But as a closing point, any closing thoughts, Lydell? Any closing?
Nothing too big. I mean, I feel that it's helped immensely for me. I mean, just with certain things just being identified to me. Power Rangers, that was a key concept when it came to friendship and stuff like that. Yeah. And it taught self-respect. It taught how to be loyal to your friends. And they also had that good guy, bad guy concept. So you already were starting to identify your rights and wrongs right there. They taught a whole bunch of stuff to little kids.
Yeah,
and as time progresses, even though originality starts to fade, one thing that I am happy about is that people from these later generations can come back to watch our 90s generation and see how much.
Which sure is some of those cartoons are trying to bring back because of the current system of broadcasting today. Like, they air certain cartoons at certain times. Yeah. Like when kids come home, the show's right there when we had Toonami for us. And that taught us, that added to our identity as who we are.
Right.
We're cartoon. Me and you are anime lovers. We really are, and it added to that. We became more than just like, oh, we're an average Joe. There's more to us. We're really open with each other, but there's stuff that we keep hidden.
Right.
And there's stuff that me and you do not know quite yet about ourselves. And we'll keep on learning. And there's unknowns. So, as broadcasting progresses, we'll learn more, So, thanks, Lydell. I appreciate you being on James's Corner. I'd really love to have you back, and maybe Eric from our other pit member. Thank you, guys. This has been James's Corner with Lydell. And I'm tuning out. I'll see you guys later.